Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to do my makeup today with you guys. There's a couple things I wanted to like try and retry. So first of all, the Subtl Beauty stack I used in my last video, but I did it just like by itself. But I want to keep like experimenting and everything. I want to use it today on top of like foundation just to see how it works, and I feel like that's how I normally would wear it. Would be at least like some kind of tint or foundation underneath it. So I want to try that again. And then I also feel like last video my lighting was kind of like only on one side of my face, so it was kind of hard to see. Wasn't the best like lighting and everything. So this time I'm facing the window versus it being on the side, so just better lighting. This is how I hope like all my future videos will be like once we move in like 4 months. But for right now I'm just kind of like working with our apartment and trying to find the best place to film for the time being. But soon enough we'll hopefully have a bigger place and I'll have like, you know, an actual setup and everything, so quality will just be getting even better. But for now, this is what we are working with, so I'm going to try that again. And then I also picked up the Dibs Desert Island Beauty Status Desert Island Duo. I've literally seen this everywhere. I feel like I didn't even know what Dibs was. It just kind of like was a new brand and then suddenly it like blew up. I'm guessing because of like influencers and everything. Because I've just seen this non-stop, especially on TikTok, so I thought I'd pick it up and actually try it today. I got the number 1. It says the bronzer is Vacay Vibes and the blush is Out of Office. And I think I just got this because it said like for light skin tones, and I just also liked the blush color. So it's like the little duo cream stick that I'm sure you've seen around, so I'm gonna try that today as well. So let's go ahead and get ready. So for foundation, I'm going to use the Milani Screen Queen. I have this in Natural Beige. I remember it being a really pretty foundation, so I'm just going to use my brush. This is the Sephora Pro Foundation 56 brush. Been loving this. And just blend that in. I feel like it's one of the foundations that actually like match me right now. A lot of my foundations are super deep for me right now in the like dead of winter, so I think this one's actually a pretty good shade. There's a foundation applied. Definitely not the most like hydrating foundation. I feel like it's like clinging to my dry spots a little bit, but I also feel like my skin is so dry that like I don't know if anything would really look that great on it at this point. Let's zoom you in a little bit. Okay, I wanted to zoom you in a little bit just so it's easier to see, but it is pretty. If you're like looking really closely, you do kind of see it like clinging to some of my dry spots, but that will work for today. And then I'm going to use the Subtl Beauty concealer in my stack. So I have this in like Charters or Chartiers. I don't know how to pronounce it. So this concealer is like super creamy, but very light coverage. That's why I wanted to try it with foundation to see if I like it with a little bit more coverage, because I felt like I almost got like no coverage out of it. Like it seemed to make my skin a little bit more even and like basically just like tone down the redness, but it's just so light. But I love the feeling of it, like how creamy it is. So brightened a little bit under the eyes. I don't really know if it like added much more coverage or anything, and it is so creamy that I do feel like it's making me kind of rub the foundation off almost. It's just like so creamy. I feel like I'm dragging it and the foundation like with it underneath. So I don't know, it might just be one of those that is just good for like really light coverage just by itself. Maybe I'll try it with a skin tint next instead, because that'll be a little bit more hydrating. Like if I use my Say skin tint, then that one's really creamy. So maybe if they're both like really creamy, it will work a little better, but It's not bad, I just feel like I'm kind of dragging everything with it. I just don't feel like it's like looking like the prettiest right now. Blend it in a little bit with the brush. I like diffuse it a little bit more. So I'm gonna say with a foundation, it's a no for me. At least like a traditional kind of like foundation like this that does like dry down a little bit. I just feel like the two textures just don't really work well together. But it's definitely hard to see. And it doesn't look bad, it's just not my favorite. I feel like they're just like working against each other. So next time I'll try it with a tint as well. But I'm gonna say the concealer I'm not loving on top of foundation. Next I'm gonna go in with the Dibs stick and use the bronzer. It smells good. What I liked about this was I was reading and it said, is it blush, bronzer, eyes, cheeks? We don't care and neither should you. We're breaking up with the beauty rules that don't make sense to streamline your routine. These expertly paired shades amp up your features so you can feel good instantly. Swipe the bronze shade anywhere you want. Subtle definition and a sun-kissed finish. Dab a pop of color to any features you want to enhance. Go straight from the stick. Use your fingers or reach for your favorite brush. It's up to you. So I liked that because I was just like, I like the flexibility of it and like how there's kind of like no rules with it at all. Ooh, that's creamy. So I'm just gonna put it where I normally apply to get some definition on the cheeks. I always feel like people get really strict with like makeup rules, and yes, there's ways to like enhance and ways that like, you know, look better, but I just feel like it's so up to you and how you want to use things. And I like using products in like different ways and maybe in ways they weren't necessarily like intended to be used. So I just like that it's like, do whatever you want and do what you feel like doing to get like whatever outcome you want. I think I'm gonna go with the Merit #1 brush to blend it out, because that's kind of how I always blend out all my other cream products, so I know it like works. I feel like a little definitely goes a long way. Like I probably didn't need to put quite as much. It does like apply a very thick layer. You like barely need to touch it to your skin, and it's so creamy that you do get like this nice thick layer, and it's very pigmented, so I feel like definitely you can go light-handed with it. I like that a lot. It really blended out super nice, super creamy. It's not like patchy at all. Definitely very warm tone, this specific one. Like it's feeling very orange. I'm taking my foundation brush and kind of just like trying to diffuse it a little bit more. I definitely applied quite a bit. And I don't want like a very stark line or anything, so I do like that I did apply quite a bit and it's very pigmented, so a little goes a long way, but I still was able to just like keep blending, and it kept kind of like blending in and fading a little bit, so now it like blended out to a really pretty like bronzy natural look. At first I definitely was like, uh-oh, I applied way too much, but if you just like keep working with it, it definitely blends out really seamlessly. And so I feel like that's very like foolproof. Like you don't have to be too careful. I thought I applied too much, but it actually ended up being okay because it was so blendable. So that's really pretty. It's just very warm for me. Like I feel like this is a bronzer I would definitely use more so in the summertime because of the warmth of it. It looks sun-kissed, but because I'm just so pale right now, the like stark difference between my very pale skin and a very like warm bronzer, I feel like this looks kind of like unnatural and very obvious on my skin tone when I'm just this pale. But in the summertime is when I want to look warm and bronzy, so I feel like that's gonna be better for me, at least in the summer months. Like I said, it did blend out to be a really like natural bronze, so I definitely don't feel like self-conscious or anything. I would definitely go out and everything and not feel like it looks bad. it's just very orange in my opinion. But I also feel like that's kind of like what they're marketing towards. Like it's literally called Desert Island. So, you know, I feel like it's supposed to be like beachy and warm and summery. So I feel like I always compare my bronzers to the NARS Laguna bronzing cream because it's my favorite like everyday bronzer because it's so neutral. It's not like a warm bronze or a cool contour shade. It's just like the perfect neutral for my skin tone to add that definition, a little bit of like life and warmth into my skin without being too much either way. And compared to that, like look at how much warmer it is. See, and that's why I say it's warm for me. Like this is what I'm used to. This is like an everyday shade. It's making it look super cool, but it really, like, to me that's just like a nice middle line neutral. But look at how warm and like orange undertone that new one is, the Dibs one is. So yeah, that's what I mean by it's gonna be like more of a summertime thing. I feel like for me it's just a little bit too like orangey for me in the dead of a Wisconsin winter with my pale skin. So yeah, but formula is like 10 out of 10, blendability 10 out of 10. And like I said, I still really like it. I look nice and bronzy. I can just picture it on like tan skin and it would be like so pretty. But I'm gonna try the blush side now. It's a nice like corally blush. Again, a really good summertime color. Getting me actually like really excited for the warmer weather. Yeah, super creamy again, super pigmented. You need probably even a less amount than I used. But again, it's so like blendable that you can really quickly make it look way more natural really fast by just blending it out a little bit more. So I would say that is like 10 out of 10 for me, like definitely worth the hype. Very, very beautiful product and very creamy, and it feels hydrating. Like I can imagine like this glowy makeup with like my Say skin tint and those products, and like I just feel like I look like a bronzy glowy queen with just like a little bit more of a tan and maybe it not being like 10 degrees outside. Okay, now I'm going to use the Shine Control powder from the Subtle stack. I'm going to skip the lip and cheek and the bronzer just because obviously I just applied them with the Dibs stick. I'm going to take my Sephora Pro Blush 96 brush, but I like this with powder, and set under the eyes and down the T-zone like I normally do. Again, this was just hard to see like what it was really doing with like so little of coverage that I had on my face in the last video. Okay, it's definitely mattifying. Like under my eyes definitely look way more matte, like in a good way, like it set them. I'm gonna go underneath a little bit too. I have no idea if it has like flashback or anything, or if it really makes your makeup like last longer. I had such a light amount of makeup in my last video on that like I couldn't tell if it was making anything last. I also keep forgetting that I bought these puffs on Amazon to try. It's another TikTok thing that I feel like I've seen everywhere. So I'm just gonna dip in a little bit. Just for like my under eyes because they get so creasy. I'm gonna have to try this with like loose powder, but I feel like it just helps to like dab the under eyes, like those creases that I always get, to really like get in there and dab out those lines. And I also did want to use the eyeshadow in here again. So I got the little duo in here and it's in Crush. So I just want to try it again now that I have like foundation on. on my eyelids and like concealer and everything. Hopefully make it pop even more. Definitely not like a whole lot you can do with two shadows that are very similar in color. This one's just shimmery and this one's matte. But it does work for a good like everyday little eye look. They do blend out really easily. And I said in the last video too, like there's literally no fallout or anything. So it's really nice for those of us that like to do our eyes after our foundation. And then we can go in with the shimmer shade and pop that on the lid as well. Okay, so I feel like the shimmer is definitely showing up a little bit more than it did last time. That was like the shade that I was like, wish it was more shimmery. Okay, so Pretty Little, again, wash of color. I do feel like they popped a little bit more when I actually had like a base on. And I'm liking the shimmer shade a little bit better. Again, it's very light shimmer, just like a little bit of flex, but it's not like crazy or anything. But I do love the tone of these. I'm gonna take the Ilia Essential Brow, run through my brows quick. Nothing new here. And I'm going to put some Lash Paradise mascara on. I still have not picked up an eyelash curler after mine broke. But I'm going to Target right after this to hopefully find one. So, and I think I'm going to go with the Anastasia lip liner in Deep Taupe. Hoping that'll be pretty with the eyes. I mean, it's such a light eyeshadow anyway. It's not like it's anything crazy. I'm just gonna like fill my lips in with the lip pencil too a little bit because I love this color. And I do feel like lip liners last just so much longer than lipstick in general. So it's kind of like, why not just use it as lipstick? I just applied a little bit of this Fenty Cream Gloss Bomb and Honey Waffles. It's a little too warm, a little too like orange for the eyes, but it'll do. Say hi. Okay, so that is the makeup for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, doing some makeup, trying and retrying some things. I also want to mention I do have a small like jewelry business. Right now I'm just doing resin rings, but I am expanding this year a little bit. So all of the like rings like this and stuff, those are all my small business, but I just wanted to mention because I just came up with this Valentine's heart ring. It's in the shape of a heart and it's really cute. It has pink foil in it, so I just wanted to mention that on my website since Valentine's Day is next week. But thank you so much for watching. Definitely like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel to see more videos from me. And I will see you next time for some Valentine's Day makeup. Bye.